Hello people, welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to the propaganda machine. This is All Things Arsenal episode 2. So, Arsenal, we are in a mini crisis. So we're going to look at a number of things today. How we're getting on in the Champions League as we're at the halfway point. The Premier League, one game away from disaster. The Arsenal women, the interim manager has come in and she seems to be working wonders, as well as Edu. He's gone. Who will replace him? And we'll look at if he done a good job or he could have done better. So the first thing I want to look at is the Champions League. We're at the halfway point. We've had 4 games so far. 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Those games, the PSG game was probably our only good game. We played very well in that first half and it was quite promising. I thought, oh yes, we can do things in this Champions League. We've just made PSG look absolutely trash. But then we played Shakhtar Donetsk and that game, that was eye-opening. We looked like we couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo, if that's the saying. We just looked lost, short on ideas, and lacking with attacking quality, especially as Bukayo Saka wasn't there. And the first game was very poor also, 0-0 with Atlanta. But all things considered, Atlanta's not a bad side, so we take the draw. But in our last game, this was probably the saddest result because you can try to take positives from the game, but Inter, they came into this with a top of the table clash on the horizon. So they said, it's only Arsenal. We're going to rest 5 or 6 players. Would they have done this against Man City or Real Madrid or a Liverpool? I don't know. Maybe. Because this new format probably allows margin for error. But nonetheless, they said, guys, some of you don't need to be at the stadium. Some of you will give you 30 minutes maximum, maybe even 5 minutes. And in this game, yes, it was decided by a controversial penalty, as Arsenal also had a shout for a penalty. But if we are being honest with ourselves, did Arsenal do enough to win that game? No. Did they do enough to score? Because that's the question. It's now 1-0. Did you do enough to score? And I would say no. We had 1 chance in that game. Inter hit the bar and they scored the penalty. So when you actually look at it, taking all bias away, we got what we deserved, which was nothing. And especially considering that they had their players on the bench, it weren't a good sign. So now we are in 12th position. We're only 2 points off Aston Villa, who are in 8th, because it is the top 8. So now we're going to have to probably win all 4 games to get top 8 qualification. 3 in the draw might just be enough if we can rack up some goal difference. But I'm not too sure. And our next game is against Sporting Lisbon. Sporting, a very dangerous side. We saw what they just done to Manchester City. It was absolute destruction. 4-1. Victor Glokeres. We call him Glokeres because he's on fire. Just pow, pow, pow! Shooting up everything. They said 11 goals in his last 5. He's on fire. Don't play with him. Arsenal's defence, will they be able to handle this? I don't know. Another question. I don't know. We just hope that Almiron going, there's a slight drop off. Because if there's not, the top 8 qualification will be hanging by a thread, and it will probably mean we will have to settle for a place in the playoffs. After that, we have Monaco and Dinamo Zagreb at home. I expect nothing less than 6 points from those games. And then Girona on the last match day away from home. So by that last game week, we will know what we need to do to get qualification. So it's not been the worst start to the Champions League, but now we gotta get more than 8 points from the possible 12. It's probably gonna need to be 10 or 12. Now we'll look at the Premier League. On Sunday, we have Chelsea. We are on 18 points. Last season, at this stage, we had 24. The season previous, we had 27. So there's been clear regression, season on, season out from the first 10 games. Last season, we had a much higher points total, as I believe we finished on, was it 89? But the problem for me is how we've been playing. We've had to deal with a number of injuries so far, but that cannot excuse the style of play, the way we are playing. We are playing like Stoke. We are playing like Burnley under Sean Dyche. Just a little bit more spicy and with quality. And it's very, very soul destroying. Because I believed at the start of the season we were going to win the league. Then I saw the transfer window. I put us down to second. But now we're currently sat in 5th. We have Nottingham Forest and Chelsea both above us at this stage of the season, which has led to questions. People are asking, are Arsenal even in a title race? Is this a top 4 race? I don't think it's that bad, but this game on the weekend will probably all but decide our fate in the Premier League, because we are the last game on Sunday. Manchester City play and Liverpool play before us. Liverpool could go 10 points clear. When it gets to 10, done. If Man City get to 8, done. There is no way we will catch them from 10 and 8 points. No way will we overtake both of them, especially if they win and we lose. That is what we are looking at. There is a grave possibility. So, we're just hoping. At this stage, we're hoping. We're hoping for a result against Chelsea. They haven't beat us in the last, well, they beat us once in the last 10, but a draw is as bad as a defeat this weekend. So, everyone, cross your fingers, cross your toes, pray to whatever God you believe in. God, Allah, Buddha. I don't care who you pray to. We need a victory this weekend because now it's out of our hands. It is out of our hands. And then if we don't get a victory, the real meltdown will begin. Me, I'm not melting down. I'm waiting until it's mathematically impossible to win the league. We're out of all cup competitions before my toys go out the pram. But my mission statement for Arsenal this season was the league or the Champions League. I don't believe we're going to win the Champions League, but I fully believed in the league. So you're probably thinking, why is he smiling? This is not a laughing matter. Because if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. And Arsenal, you're not making me cry. No, no, no. Next subject, Arsenal women. So, on the last show, we spoke about Jonas Eidevall. He was sacked, dismissed. Get out! The door's that way, son. Now, Renee Slagers took over and we've seen an improvement. We're not losing games. We've had 2 wins and a draw. That was 1 win in the league against West Ham and a draw against Man United, which we were very, very unlucky. Conceded to a corner and almost nicked it at the last kick of the game. So there's been improvement. Renee Slegers is in charge and she's not doing too badly. We have Brighton today. Brighton have been very, very good in the WSO. They're in 3rd position. So this is probably going to be a big, big test. But saying that, Man United were in good form and they're probably better than Brighton. And we should have won that game. So it's now emerged that Nick Cushing is the favourite for the manager's position. But Renee Slagers is there for the next 4 games. It was 5, but 1 game has passed. So, Nick Cushing, he won the WSL with Manchester City. Could he do the same with Arsenal? He's currently in America and he's doing very well with New York City, and he is going to oversee the playoff games this month. So maybe that's why they've given her the next 4 games, just in case she does wonders and they decide to keep her, or he does a madness in the playoff, wins, and they say, yep, this is definitely our man. Last story. Edu Gaspar has left Arsenal. Some are asking, is there a rift between him and Arteta? What's going on? Why did he leave? Well, I can probably give you 2 guesses. Money, power. It is now emerging that Edu will be the 4th highest person behind the scenes. So that's managers, that is sporting directors, that is physios, that is whatever, assistant coaches, any role. They're saying he's going to be the 4th highest. Only Unai Emery, Arteta, and Pep Guardiola will earn more than Edu in his new role. And the new role is overseeing Marinakis' group: Olympiacos, Nottingham Forest, and a few others. So Edu will have a lot more power, and that is probably why he's leaving. You can't really begrudge him because would you do the same? More than likely, I probably would. Yes, I love Arsenal as much as the next man, but it always speaks. Can you hear it? Money talks. So let's take a look at his reign. Edu became the sporting director in 2019. He made 36 signings and spent over 800 million over his 5 years in charge of Arsenal as the sporting director. How many of them have been successful? That's down to you to decide. All I will say is a lot of those signings have not been good enough, especially the first 2 years. More recently, he started to get it right, bringing in the likes of Trossard on a cheap. That was very good business. I don't think nobody could disagree. He also brought Saliba, very good. Gabriel, so he's got a few players that you'd say, well done, Edu. He's also spent a lot of money on players which you would probably say he's overpaid for. Pepe being number one. Declan Rice, we probably did overpay for him, but Man City were in the race. They bid 100, so really and truly, we kind of had no other alternative. But my main issue, we spent around 700 million from the back to midfield. 50 million goalkeepers, that's not too bad. 300 million on defenders, another 300 million in midfield. We only spent around 150 million on the forward line. Marquinhos, not good enough. Pepe, the chunk of it, 72 million. Gabriel Jesus, 45 million. Trossard, 20 million. I said that's a bargain. We have been starved. Martinelli, 6 million, a great bargain. Those are the only forwards. You can try to make a case for Kai Havertz, but no, he was bought as a midfielder, not a forward. In this whole time, as you can see, he's not bought a number 9, a recognised number 9. So whoever comes next into Arsenal, the first signing I want to see you make is a number 9. Stop what you're doing. You go and get us our striker. Over the years, Van Persie, Adebayor, Bergkamp, Henry, Ian Wright, Anelka, Reyes, Eduardo da Silva. Number 9s that we could say we're very proud of. Aubameyang. But for some reason, we don't want to buy forwards. We're saying more defenders. Bring more, bring more, bring more. We need more. And from this graphic, the defense, is the only position where every player has been a permanent signing. Midfield, Dani Ceballos, he was brought on loan. We didn't make that permanent. Odegaard was also a loan, but we have Neto, he's on loan. He's not going to stay. Matt Ryan as well. Sterling on loan. They seem to have a fascination with defenders. And I don't know what it is. Because surely the balance is wrong. We need attackers. The next window, maybe one defender, one midfielder, three forwards. We gotta go crazy because this is not good enough. Edu, your time at Arsenal is a mixed bag. Started shit, and with Arteta, it's kind of progressed, and we've hit a ceiling. Are we going to break the ceiling, or are we going to fall flat on our face? I don't know. So now, the question is, who is going to replace him? I don't know. I do not know. The names that are being mentioned is somebody called Tim Stidham from West Ham. West Ham? Their recruitment, has it been good? I would say no. Kudus, excellent. Paqueta, he's been up and down. Last season, or was it the season before, very good. This season, he doesn't look himself. So, I'd probably pass. Jason Aito, Edu's assistant sporting director, another name in the frame. I don't know too much about him, but I would say go and get someone more qualified. We do not want any more of Edu. Two new names that have been mentioned as early as today. Thomas Rosicky and Per Mertesacker. This just sounds like jobs for the boys. You're not really looking for, you're just, let's pluck someone from within. And I don't want that. I want fresh eyes, fresh set of eyes. So, although we loved you as players, I'll pass for now. There was a list of 5 names. Leonardo was one of them, a free agent. He left PSG. He recently said he wanted to get rid of Mbappe and get the 162 million Real Madrid offered, but the owners, they rejected it. They said no. And now look, Mbappe left for free. But those owners, they have more money than sense by the sounds of it. So he's one of the names in the frame. He's also worked at AC Milan, so he's got a bit of experience. Phil Giles is from Brighton. Now, this name is a name I've been thinking about because Brighton, you think Brighton, what are Brighton good for? They're good for selling players. Edu, he didn't sell very well. I could hazard a guess. He bought 800 and he probably didn't sell 300 million worth of players, which is very, very poor. But this Brentford guy, he sells very well. And another thing he does, he buys forwards. We're starved in the attacking area. You know Ollie Watkins? That was him. Brentford, they went and got him. They went and got him from, I believe, Western-super-Mare. Ivan Toney plucked him from League One, brought him in. They got promoted to the Premier League, and we saw what Ivan Toney was doing in the Premier League. But the two most recent ones that we can see with our eyes week in, week out. And boy, I would love one of them at my team right now. The Cramp Twins, Wissa and Mbuemo. So he looks like he has an eye for a gem. The only question is, will he have an eye for talent that is already at a certain level instead of us having to build them up, because this is a different level at Arsenal compared to Brentford. So that is a bit of a question mark, but it's not the worst name. I don't really know too much about names, but that is someone who I'll be interested in. Monchi previously rejected us. He's at Aston Villa. He's done very good work at Seville. That's who he rejected us for before. So I probably would say no, because he's happy to work with Unai Emery, and I feel that he probably won't want to leave Aston Villa because they seem to have a good thing going on at the moment. Another name who we've all heard before, what do they call it? Rocket Ralph or Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Rangnick. Will he be the next sporting director of Arsenal? He's currently the Austrian manager, but one thing we know, he's got a lot of experience overseeing clubs. So much experience. He was at Red Bull Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg. He done a very good job there. Salzburg won lots of titles. Leipzig came from very low in the maybe Bundesliga 3 all the way up to second place in the Bundesliga under Ralf Rangnick. They also got one trophy. So, could he be a name? Some of his signings, he's recommended signings for Man United alone. Alvarez, Haaland, Enzo Fernandez. He's Vardio. So there's a few players he recommended. The Enzo one, but I'm not sure if he recommended it before, because if Enzo was bought for the, say, 20 million, I don't think people would be cussing him too much. It's the fact he's 100 million. That is the big issue. Nkunku as well. So he does know some talent. And I'll tell you some names he brought to the Red Bull model. Joshua Kimmich. That is one. Sadio Mane. Erling Haaland. Ibrahima Konate. Marcel Sabitzer. Those are players that he signed. And guess what? He paid 13 million. So that is someone who could do a job. I don't mind that name. I really don't mind it. Tiki is another name, but he's alleged to be retiring. So let me know who you want. Do you have any names? I'm always open. Guys, this has been All Things Arsenal, episode 2. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm out, people.